Mason, it's okay just to be you. Don't worry about what everybody around you is thinking about you at all times. If you're happy and you're putting off some good energy, they're gonna buy into it.
Dear Mason, 12 months ago you started a project, a journey, and a challenge. It began with an expensive trip to Best Buy, a deal with yourself, and a proclamation to the digital world. This is a series called That Was 27. So this is a project for me. I'm 27 years old, so at the end of the year, I want to be able to package this up in a nice little series and say, that was 27. That was my real, authentic self. What started as a fun way to express yourself and an outlet for your creative energy quickly turned into something a little more than that. The lens you were using to capture the outside world began to look more like a mirror reflecting what you needed to see back at you. I don't think you knew how stuck you were. Sure, you were coming off a year where you saw a lot of personal and professional success and growth, but if you were really on top of the world, why were you always in your own head convincing yourself you should be happy? You've always considered yourself a really self-aware person and have had no trouble navigating the roller coaster of emotions thrown your way. But something you've never been able to figure out is what's stopping you from being fully happy. Then it hit you. Am I being authentic? For so long you've been managing what people thought about you or interpreted of you that you were forgetting about what Mason thought of Mason. This year changed that for you. The moment you realized you didn't hate the sound of your own voice, your mouth didn't need to be covered every time you laughed, and you were at your best when you shut up the voices of self-doubt and lived 100% unapologetically authentic, that's when you had all the power. For one full year, you not only captured your growth to that authentic version of yourself, but a year with so many milestones and lessons. A year that saw big breaks, heartbreaks, and painful breaks. A year that saw you leave Saskatchewan 10 times to 5 different provinces and over 13,000 kilometers of travel. A year spent with new friends, old friends, co-workers, and family. A year where you were greeted with each familiar season, but saw your nephews experiencing each holiday for their very first times.
Happy Halloween!
Oh, thank you. And finally, a year that took you back to your roots, pushed you to new limits. 45 kilometers and 79 obstacles. The trifecta is done.
So the half vote is you or you guys fit.
Yeah! Over 650 hours of editing invested through this project, but it was so worth it because 26 vlogs have brought you 26 different crucial lessons that taught you something pivotal about yourself. You're almost there. So what's missing? Well, a pretty big part actually. That's all led to this. You never really do forget that feeling of shame and confusion and fear when it all clicks for the first time. In your case, you were in grade 5, and when your entire world revolves around fitting in and being accepted, you realized you were quite different. All you knew was the small town you were living in, and boys are supposed to like girls, and anything outside of that is wrong. During a time when words like gay and fag were the accepted punchline to jokes and were casually exchanged on the schoolyard as a trump card to really land a punch, it's pretty hard to be at your most vulnerable age knowing your shaky thumb was hovering over the detonator that could blow your entire world apart at any given moment. Grades 7 to 9 was pretty rough for you. On top of hating yourself for something you couldn't change, it wasn't uncommon to have a volleyball thrown at your head or a slur directed your way in the hallway while you frantically tried to unlock your locker so you could quickly get your books and then just hide from any further attack. You quit sports you loved playing, you made up fake girlfriends to try and hide it, and each day you got better and better at numbing that side of you. Things got better in high school as kids matured, but you had already mastered ways to suppress who you were so that it was no longer readily detectable. From then on, everything you said was seamlessly filtered, and you became a chameleon that could adapt to any situation. For years, you kept busy to distract yourself, and you thought you got to a point where you outran that part of you. That all changed when Dad passed away. Seeing your father robbed of precious years of his life was tragic, but it also gave you a huge gift of perspective. You learned that you get one shot at this thing, and tomorrow is no guarantee. From that moment on, there was no more bullshit, and you started a long journey to becoming okay with something you had spent years burying with no intention of ever digging up. So here it is. Something you couldn't ever imagine revealing, and took you until December 31st, 2018 to tell anyone or even say out loud. I am gay, and I'm okay with it. So why now? And why did it take years to finally say it out loud? I mean, obviously times have changed, but when you hold on to a secret for 28 years, you naturally think of every worst case scenario of what happens when you finally reveal it. Quite honestly, it took this project to show yourself what life could look like without fear of being you. You surrounded yourself with so much unconditional love, support, and inspiration that they've unknowingly chipped away at what once was an impenetrable protective casing. You'd be lying to yourself if you said you weren't afraid of how this will be received. But does that even matter anymore? For so long, you've built up a barrier to keep the bad guys out, to protect yourself from the creatures, seemingly keeping yourself a safe distance from anyone that could ever hurt you. It took until now to realize those same walls are stopping you from fully committing to the beautiful people and love that are banging at the door to come in.
Hello. How are you? Hello.
I felt better in my life, but this is a top 5 moment for me.
But I want to let you know that this battle is done. There will be more, but for now, it's okay. Let your walls down. I think you'll see there's something amazing waiting for you on the other side.
I'm feeling strong enough to bring the world into. Feels like ever since we left this place, young, wild, and ready to make our way. Overdressed another day. All my time has come today. I'm feeling strong enough to bring the world into. Feels like ever since we left this place, young, wild, and ready to make our way. Overdressed another day. All my time has come today.
Happy birthday to you. What, do you want to sing Bring Me to Life? No? Everybody out of the pool!
You did it, Mason. You survived a seemingly never-ending fight with your sexuality, cancer taking your father, and another battle that isn't your story to tell. You are resilient. You are a fighter. and I am proud of you. A new chapter is about to start, but somewhere far down the road and a long time from now, I hope you're asked, when did you know you were who you needed to be? Your answer should be simple.